one of her own. Yes, she will have no books written about her. But she was a saint. Now, however, we look to the future.
And the United States gets a new president, Gerald Ford, who tries valiantly in those early days to heal the wounds of the nation, allowing draft evaders and deserters to return to their country.
Could you tell us just briefly why you decided to stop speaking out about Watergate and impeachment?
I really think it's better if I make no comment at this point, Ron. Thank you.
Does this mean that you no longer feel the president is innocent of an impeachable offense?
I said no comment.
Have you been in touch with the president? Has it been keeping you informed at all?
I'll see you later.
But an early decision backfires.
This decision and act on the part of the president will bang and rattle for the rest of the decade and maybe for the rest of the generation. Because clearly, a man accused of a crime will now be able to assert that if he were president of the United States, or if he had a friend in high place, he would be fully pardoned. And I don't know how one answers this. And I think it has a very devastating effect on the principle of law and order, most generously considered.
The nation's biggest birthday, when Decades continues.
His pardon of Richard Nixon does more than anything else to make Gerald Ford vulnerable. Yet he can smile. The Democrats seem in total disarray. Then one man emerges from the sea of presidential primaries, though no one can figure just what his appeal is. Maybe it's his smile. Maybe it's his down-home manner. Some think the best thing he has going for him is his self-identification with the father of the country.
I'll never tell a lie. I'll never make a misleading statement. I'll never betray the confidence that any of you has in me. And I will never avoid a controversial issue. I won't be any better president than I am a candidate.
Clear to the Arab countries, in no uncertain terms, that if they ever again try to blackmail this nation, as they did in 1973, by declaring an embargo against us, that we would consider it instantly, not a military, but an economic declaration of war, and that we would respond in like terms and declare a total embargo against them, not ship them any food, no weapons, no spare parts for weapons, no oil drilling rigs, no oil pipe, no nothing.
I believe people in this country are looking for a candidate for president who can form an intimate relationship between myself and you now and maintain that closeness between the center of our government and the people of this country after I'm in the White House next January. Another thing I have in common with these people on the stage is that we were all elected. We're all fuzzy on the issues, which is proven by the fact that we did get elected. As one there's an advantage in being a presidential candidate. You have a much broader range of issues on which to be fuzzy.
If there's one thing Americans like even more than a parade, it's a birthday party. In mid-decade comes America's 200th birthday, with Vice President Rockefeller and wife Happy taking on the official duties for President Ford. 1776 is the magic number. That many new citizens sworn in Chicago, that many Frisbees air-launched in Sheboygan. Show business personalities abound. Singer Johnny Cash and Telly Savalas. And those longtime parade crowd pleasers, the Shriners in their mini cars. Red, white, and blue is the color combination of the year, even in hamburgers and in ice cream cones, some with flags a-waving, and guitars and banjos.
The wounds of our parting in 1776 healed long ago. Americans admire the United Kingdom as one of our truest allies and best friends.
In 70 years, there was a formal constitutional link between us. Your Declaration of Independence broke that link, but it did not for long break our friendship.
The Queen gets attention at home as well, though it's a little less formal.
For years and years, people have said, good old England, we fought 2 world wars, we won them. You know what I mean? So England's all about glory. Fine old England, Lionheart and all that. Well, that's crap, you know. Well, there isn't any future for a kid now. I mean, there isn't, you know.
The Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten.
God save the Queen! Fascist regime! It made you a moron! Potential H bomb! God save the Queen! She's not a human being! There is no future in England's dream! Tell me, Joanna, what you want. Tell me, Joanna, what you need. No future, no future, no future for you. God save the Queen.
The only future for a kid now is if they're lucky to get a sort of secure job. They'll either go in a sort of job like that, insurance or the bank, or they're on the dole. Or otherwise they're brickies and labourers and sort of dumb edge, and they'll never get anywhere. A lot of people are opening up their eyes and finding out that all we've got is the past. We've got no future, you know.
A real punker must dress the part.
Teenage kids who follow punk rock in this country, their style and form of dress is a total reaction against the packaging of youth clothing in this country. They are really concerned now with taking any form of clothing and making a statement with it by tearing it up, writing a slogan across it that suggests something of their own particular discontent.
Well, my mate done it for me with a needle.
Oh yeah? Does it hurt?
It's not when he done it 3 weeks ago.
What?
But it's not quite, well, it's almost through now, but it's still when he done it about 3 weeks ago.
You've got to get out there and shove it down people's throats, your ideas. You know, the message is honesty, you know, being on the same level as the kids in the audience.
Punk rock becomes a coarse art form in Britain, then drops into that special abyss reserved for fads. Sid Vicious is charged with murdering his girlfriend in '78 and dies a few months later of a heroin overdose. Punk, it rises from the ashes, cleaned up a bit and renamed. It's the new wave.
In a moment, fashion's short statement when Decades returns.
Getting in step with the civil rights progress of the 60s, women learned to march in the 70s, to demand their rights, to call for unity, and to taunt their oppressors. At one of the first big rallies in 1970 in New York, they hear the new gospel from feminist high priestess Gloria Steinem.
Women, black people, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and all the minorities, that all of us must stand up together and say no more. This inhuman system of exploitation will change, but only if we force it to change, and force it together.
Unless men begin to recognize that something really profound is happening, mainly that women have caught on to the game. We don't know it completely yet. You know, we haven't really discovered the total anatomy of our oppression and of what they've been doing to us. But we do know that it's happening. We're on to it. And unless they accept this and stop developing just another new line to cope with that, there are going to be fewer and fewer relationships going on between men and women.
That sober march of women through the 70s began with what seemed then a singing, swinging taunt to all men.